Let's talk about splitting bills with roommates. I give the same advice to people thinking about being roommates as I do to folks thinking about getting married. You want to have some in depth financial discussions ahead of time. You want to ask questions like: Is your job secure? Does your income fluctuate with your job? But do you have some money saved up? What is your credit score like? Now, the credit score question in particular is, in case you're thinking about both of you going on the lease together. Remember, a lot of apartment complexes these days are taking a look at your credit to determine whether they give you a lease or not. If somebody doesn't have very much credit or poor credit, well, then it'll hurt your chances of getting an apartment. So you guys will need to kind of address that and factor that in ahead of time. Now, it may be funny, but Sheldon on The Big Bang Theory actually had the right idea when it comes to being a roommate. He may be kooky, but it is a good idea to have some sort of roommate agreement. You want to spell out ahead of time in writing who's responsible for what the splits are going to look like, as well as prepare some contingencies in case things happen, like if there's a financial hardship or somebody loses their job. If you do that, then that will help you to avoid drama later and make it clear what consequences of certain actions will be. Looks like I'm going to have a party over here before I get to search for my treasure. Now, there are certain things, of course, that you're going to split financially being roommates. One of them, of course, is rent. Everybody thinks of that, right? But hardly anybody thinks of the other stuff ahead of time, utilities and whatnot, okay? You could split those up, each of you takes this one or that one, or you could just split it all right down the middle. I'm a big fan of just splitting the utilities right down the middle. Whatever's not included in the rent, electric, water, garbage, sewer, recycling, if any of those things are not included in the rent, then split them up amongst yourselves. Likewise, cable, internet, if you're going to have those things. If you're all going to share streaming services, then share up some of the cost as well for those streaming services. Now, if you've got a friend that's just psychotic about anime and the rest of you are not so much, well, then they should be responsible for that themselves. So some other things that you might want to keep separate when it comes to having roommates and renting a house or an apartment together is furniture. If furniture is going to be in the common area, then it should be bought individually. You can't split up a couch when everybody leaves. Somebody's going to get the couch, right? So whoever's going to get the couch should be responsible for purchasing the couch. You guys can sort some of that out later, but that's to avoid hard feelings, things of that nature. Groceries. For the most part, you'll want to do groceries separate. There's some stuff that maybe everybody might chip in on, but for the most part, give each other a separate shelf and don't be eating each other's food. That's a huge source of drama. And you might keep receipts, have like a little receipt jar. It's okay to do nice things for your roommate. Hey man, while I'm here at the store, I'm going to pick up a loaf of bread, then circle it, jot a name on it, and put it in a receipt jar. Settle up come rent time or whatever. We'll actually talk about that in just a second. Another big one is pets. Can't really split up pets. Whoever's got the pet should be responsible for the pet bills. And you'll want to know ahead of time whether or not your apartment or the house that you're renting, whether or not they allow pets. That could be a huge source of drama later. Now, speaking of drama, one of the biggest ways to get drama is leaving little snarky notes around. Talk to people directly. Don't leave passive-aggressive notes. Oh, dishes need to be done this weekend. Oh, somebody needs to clean this up. No. If you think somebody should be responsible for cleaning up a particular mess or taking care of something, have a face-to-face conversation with them. I don't care about your anxiety issues or whatever. No, have that in person. Okay? Cleaning responsibilities. You want to define that ahead of time, too. Who's responsible for what? Work out a chore list, whatever the case may be. Trust me, guys, this saves a lot of drama later. Guests. Okay, what the process or procedure is for having guests, because sooner or later you're going to have guests over. Look at that pig. Let's see if we can get that pig. You're going to have guests over, and likewise, you're probably going to have parties or, whatever. Who's responsible if the guest tears something up? Make sure that's clear and defined. Yes, getting some meat. Meat's back on the table, boys. All right. And you want to keep records. Invariably, somebody is going to end up being in charge of being the person that gathers the rent and does this or that, okay? The last thing you want is accusations of impropriety. Oh, well, I don't really think that the bill was this much, or I paid that. No, you can avoid drama by keeping records. Now, to that end, there is an app for everything, okay? There's a couple of apps in particular that might be helpful for this. There's an app called Splitwise that keeps a tally and even sends reminder emails to people when things are due. Of course, an easy way to send money to each other is Venmo. I don't care what you use, if you just use cash or if you transfers or whatever. It's just a suggestion, something that might be helpful for you. Likewise, there is an app called IOU that not only keeps records, but can set up payment plans. So if you guys work out something, if you're going to cover a friend for his portion for a month and he's going to pay you back, well, he's probably not going to be able to pay you that back all at once. You could set up a payment plan on that. Okay? There's another app called Splitter. And Splitter might be great for anybody that's in an area with dodgy internet or whatever, because it even works offline, and it's awesome because it will even send a PDF file of records for you. And there is an app also for groceries called Our Groceries. What's nice about this is communal shopping lists, and it'll even help you to set up group plans, make lists of other things. Hey, for our movie marathon, we want to watch blah, blah, blah this weekend, okay? Now, some parting wisdom that I'm going to share with you is that your landlord doesn't give a shit who didn't pony up their portion of the rent. That they don't care, okay? So it's a sink or swim together. If the rent's late, everybody's on the hook. And they're going to come after first whoever's on the lease, okay? But if the rent doesn't get paid, everybody gets evicted. They don't care. And one other thing that I forgot to mention earlier, because I may have gotten a little distracted with killing pigs, is that renter's insurance should be something that everybody should have separate. I'm probably going to do a whole other video on that. But renters, it's possible. It depends. It's a state-to-state thing for more than one person to be on a renter's insurance policy, okay? But it varies and whatnot. However, it's best if each individual has their own renter's insurance. It's inexpensive. It's not a big deal. As I've mentioned, I'm probably going to go through some pros and cons in a whole other video, but I just wanted to end on that as a final note. Hey guys, I hope you have some success with taking in a roommate and that. It's worked out for me. It worked out great for me in college. Worked out great for me in the fraternity until our house caught fire. It worked out great for my wife and I when we were first married. We had a couple of roommates living with us, which made the mortgage and saving money and being ahead on our bills easier. And the tips that I have given you for avoiding drama directly relate to lessons we learned having roommates. So if you've got suggestions, please share those with me, because I could always do another video on this and share it with other people. And you could do that at fustyandfinance@gmail.com, or you can leave it for me in the comments below this video on YouTube.